Pied Piper of Hamelin. But before we get started, I want you to think about something. What if a single song, just one magical tune, was so powerful it could make an entire town get up and follow you? Just anywhere you wanted to lead them. Kind of spooky, right? Well, keep that idea in your head because that's exactly where our story is heading.
You see, this isn't your typical once upon a time kind of fairy tale. Nope. This story starts in a real place with a very, very real problem and a mystery that, honestly, historians are still scratching their heads about. So, let's go. Let's travel back in time to the town of Hamelin.
Okay, so our story kicks off in a town that is facing a truly terrible, just overwhelming crisis.
So I want you to picture this, a beautiful little storybook town in Germany. You know, the kind with cute little houses and those classic cobblestone streets. It's a real place, by the way. You can actually go and visit it right now.
But underneath all that picture-perfect charm, something was wrong. There was this creeping, squeaking, scurrying problem that was basically eating the town alive from the inside out.
Rats. And I'm not talking one or two, I mean thousands of them. It was like this unstoppable tide of rats. They were just everywhere, swarming the streets, getting into people's homes, into their kitchens. The people of Hamelin were completely desperate. They were at their wits' end.
So the mayor, you can imagine the pressure he was under, right? He makes this huge, desperate public promise. He basically shouts, "Gold! A big reward of gold to anyone who can get rid of this plague." And just like that, the stage was set. And wouldn't you know it, just when it seemed like all hope was lost, a mysterious stranger walked into town. He was different. He was a musician, and he was dressed in these amazing, colorful clothes. I mean, he just completely stood out from all the worried townspeople. And what did he have with him? Just a simple wooden flute.
So he lifts this flute to his lips, and he starts to play. And the sound, it's this enchanting, almost hypnotic melody. It was like a tune that spoke a secret language, a language that only one very specific group was meant to understand.
You know what? It worked. It actually worked. Every single rat poured out of the houses, totally mesmerized by this strange music. They followed the piper like a giant wave, right out of Hamelin and straight into the river. And poof, gone forever. The town was saved. Can you just imagine the cheering? The absolute relief?
So everyone in Hamelin is celebrating, right? They're thrilled. But their joy wasn't going to last. Because this is where the story takes a dark turn. This is about a promise that was very, very carelessly broken.
Look, the promise was crystal clear, right? A big, handsome reward of gold. But the second the rats were gone, the mayor got greedy. He completely went back on his word. In fact, the story goes he just laughed in the piper's face and refused to pay him even a single coin.
I mean, can you even imagine how that would feel? This guy just performed a literal miracle. He saved their entire town from disaster. And what does he get for it? Greed and a broken promise. You can just feel that hurt and that feeling of being cheated, just turning into this cold, simmering anger.
And what the piper does next? Well, it's something that would haunt the town of Hamelin forever. This is where the story of triumph turns into an unforgettable tragedy.
So, he walks back into the town square. He lifts that flute to his lips one more time. But this wasn't the same tune he played for the rats. Oh no, this was a brand new song with a totally different kind of magic. And it was meant for a very, very different audience. And as these beautiful, almost haunting notes started to drift through the air, all the town's children, they just stopped what they were doing. They were totally mesmerized, just like the rats. They were enchanted. But for them, this music was just full of joy and wonder.
Laughing, dancing, they all poured out into the streets, following that colorful musician. He led them right out of the town gates up towards a mountain nearby, and then they disappeared, and they were never, ever seen again.
And here's where things get really crazy. This is where the fairy tale slams into a chilling reality. Because this isn't just a story. There are actual town records from Hamelin from over 700 years ago that confirm that on one specific day, a whole bunch of children, 130 of them, mysteriously vanished. This whole legend could just be an old way of trying to explain a real, heartbreaking, and unsolved historical event.
So, wow. What do we even take away from a story that's so sad and mysterious?
Well, like all the best stories, this one leaves us with a really powerful, timeless lesson.
And the lesson is pretty simple, but so important. Keep your promises. The mayor thought he was being clever, saving himself a little bit of gold. But what did he lose? Something so much more precious. This story is just this haunting reminder that trust and honesty, that's the real treasure. It's worth way more than gold.
And this leaves us with a really tough question, one I want you to think about. Who do you think was more in the wrong here? Was it the greedy mayor who broke a huge promise? Or was it the piper who took such a terrible, heartbreaking revenge? Man, there is no easy answer to that one, is there?
So how about we try to bring this lesson into our own lives? Here's a cool little idea for you to try. Make yourself a promise card today. It's super simple. Just write down one small promise. It can be to a friend, your family, or even just to yourself. And then, the most important part, keep it. It's an awesome way to practice what it means to be trustworthy.
And that brings our trip to Hamelin, Germany to a close. Woo, what a story. Hey, if you enjoyed this crazy mix of legend and real history, make sure you subscribe because we've got so many more magical stories from all over the world to share with you. Thanks for hanging out with me today.